Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen monthly report looking at what Cloud Imperium games have been working on over the last few weeks and what they're focused on now in May in terms of the development for Star Citizen's persistent universe and what we might be getting in the next month or so. Let's start with ships and vehicles. In the EU, the team there focused on closing out tasks for Invictus launch week, including 3 new ships planned for release at the event. The Misk Starlance attack was also completed for its upcoming flyable release. Progress was made on 4 unannounced vehicles. The first is progressing through white box toward full production, while the second is approaching its grey box review and Lot 0 complete. The third, which was briefly shown on a recent episode of Inside Star Citizen, is progressing through concept. The fourth, the first in a while from an existing manufacturer, has been formally kicked off. I'd assume that is probably the Kruger Intergalactic Light Fighter, but we'll have to wait and see. The Constellation Outland Pioneer continued through the pre-production and white box phases. The modular kits were solidified alongside some structural changes to improve the flow and movement through the ship. The team also continued to define the core visual elements to inject the consolidated Outland art style. Numerous paints were also created for new and existing ships for release in coming events. The North American content team began closing out 2 new variants with polishing and bug fixing. An all-new ship progressed too, with recent decisions being made on cargo capacity and tractor beam placement. The RSI Apollo continued through the grey box phase with new concepts for the Med Bay area and bridge. Finally, for ships, work continued on the RSI Perseus. That's one of my favourite ships. They worked on it to define the interior look and feel and ensure it functions as intended. The UI team worked to implement unique UI styles for several upcoming vehicles. VFX worked towards completing their tasks on vehicles and weapons for Invictus launch week, and pre-production VFX work also began on upcoming major release, including locations, creatures, and weather. So I'm super excited to see a load of these ships and vehicles turn up at Fleet Week, but obviously they've got a load more planned beyond that, and they're making great progress, it seems, with the Apollo and Perseus, but obviously there's no dates there yet. Several of the core gameplay teams spent the last few weeks stabilizing and improving the new space-themed missions in Alpha 4.1.1. This included closing out the first iteration of several new features, such as communication notifications and new mission rewards. Outside of new content, the team continued to monitor feedback from the PTU to address community concerns as quickly as possible. Recent tasks have included investigating new issues with quantum travel and reoccurring problems with freight elevators, ship claiming, and inventory flow. The teams analysed performance captures, seeing where gains could be made for both client and server frame rates, especially focusing on new content. There are several more ongoing initiatives across the core gameplay team that are either for the next few releases, longer term, or for Squadron 42. However, much of the work done for Squadron 42 will be relevant to Star Citizen, so these teams are working on both projects. They've also been working on updates to the engineering UI screens, including countdown warnings for catastrophic explosions, and they've also been improving the diagnostic screen. Further improvements were made to ship death. For example, fatal damage behaviors now require a significant impact. In addition, catastrophic misfires can be triggered by nearby items failing due to severe damage. Improvements to deactivating soft death were also completed, and its effects can be enabled separately. For flight experience, the team enabled the new spaceflight mode in their feature streams. They are currently resolving bugs related to AI ship motion alongside outstanding work on the takeoff and landing experience. Several new game modes were added to allow them to test the new flight model in the future. Due to the data setup, both the new and existing models can be tested separately without affecting each other. An overhaul of the control surface tech began as well. As such, flying in atmosphere and especially gliding is now much more realistic thanks to believable aerodynamic behaviors. Things like atmospheric densities are also considered. There's still outstanding work on the control systems and interaction with thrusters and the AI systems. The last few weeks also saw an update to the new quantum tech. In addition to adding a slow speed variant of quantum boosting, the devs resolved several bugs and improved reliability and performance. It also features improved ways for the mission designers to control the flow for AI ships. Further work will focus on improving the current experience and making it compatible with multiplayer. Core gameplay optimized the scan wave mechanic to be as responsive as possible, with focus on overwhelming contact environments where hundreds or thousands of contacts are processed in a short period. Alongside this, the team continued to polish FPS radar and scanning gameplay via regular playtests. The work included adjusting the detection formula, highlighting visuals, and disabling the influence signature system to improve it to better serve the intended gameplay. The team then made improvements to inclusion checks, such as adding a mechanic to skip checks for radar contacts within the same room. This allows for a smoother flowing experience when searching for items or objectives out of direct line of sight, which would previously require a fully charged scan to detect. They also iterated on the box out display for radar contacts, in optimizing and refining the marker placement. Design also began setting up which objects will be detectable by radar and scanning in the persistent universe. Several major bugs were fixed, including one causing the Misk Hull C to spawn with its spindle extended, which prevented flight in certain ports. A commodities issue stopping ships being selectable as a destination was fixed too. For refineries, the team added the location inventory to the list of sources and destinations, while refining no longer consumes the ore bag, so it can be reused. For cargo, items placed on grids now take item pivot into consideration if the data is available. The economy team have been working on a load of new content for Alpha 4.1.1, including items and vehicles for Invictus. They also supported the design of several new mission archetypes, some of which have the chance to impact the universe in a more permanent manner. The team began looking into making the economy more dynamic, testing various things. They said, "We are studying different economic models from history and fiction to get a better impression of how the economy will feel when it is fully fledged." The team also discussed the next iteration of item recovery and how it will influence the prices and exclusivity of different items. Work then continued on the back-end shop refactor that will provide the tools to start building a better shopping experience. Mission design. With most of their recent fundamental tech work complete, the team focused on improving mission quality. For example, players in the PTU will see the return of comms notifications. While the previous system used for Xenothreat and Siege of Orison was difficult to update and maintain, it's now a lot easier to implement content into the game. The teams are planning to slowly roll out this update across the game to globally improve mission quality. I'm very happy to see improved missions and lots more missions in Star Citizen. Alpha 4.1.1 will see new mission types focused on PvE ship battles. These include Ambush, which sees players set up a trap to take out a priority target, and Patrol, where players travel between different coordinates and take on activities at each point. Work on these missions will also allow the team to fix some long-standing issues with spawning ship-based reinforcements, so shipwave missions should now function better. A few of the designers also began fixing missions that missed the 4.0 release. They said, hopefully some of these will be in a good enough state for a release soon, but we're committed to quality and stability of the missions. Updates were also made to Wicklow, including the things they are willing to trade to prevent the farming of rare components. Ships rewarded by Wicklow will now only feature their unique paint, while the components will be added to the Emporium. The animation team continued to support the studio-wide initiative of focusing on content for the persistent universe. They also progressed with the Valakar, the sandworms, supported various new mission givers and world NPCs, and began working on a new creature. AI content spent the majority of the last month preparing for the release of 4.1.1, including the communication that players now receive from mission givers. In keeping with the general directive for looking for more ways to convey the persistent universe's overarching stories, the team worked on a new approach that, when implemented, will be an exciting new way to update players on storylines and events. Very much looking forward to that. AI content also continued to refine NPC behavior packs and prototype lines for design to incorporate into future missions and events. AI features focused on refining the juvenile Valakar, the sandworms. Improvements included changes to its idle roam behavior and navigation mesh to reduce the likelihood of it getting stuck. A cooldown was added to its melee attacks, with the creature now re-evaluating targets during cooldown. Issues were fixed with Valakar not looking at its target when emerging from the ground too. For human combat AI, focus was on first reactions and escalation, including resolving bugs with the new system, adding and refining new reaction world lines and implementing new methods for controlling which events NPCs respond to. The latter is useful for specific combat scenarios where NPCs are required to focus on a particular task rather than getting drawn into combat. Refinement and polish also continued on compromised cover reactions, while new prototype technology was implemented to lower weapons when friendly fire is detected. The Game Intelligence Development Team, GID for short, continued their research discussions on the mission system. The objective remains to provide the designers with tools to help them easily create entertaining missions for players. AI tech progressed with the pathfinding system. NPCs can better chase vehicles on the ground, collision avoidance saw work, and various behaviours. Cover usage was improved. The live tools team worked on various features including new sanction types and improvements to scheduling global system messages. The network team delivered the entity teleport feature, which is used to move replicated entities that may or may not be streamed out. This enables systems like Respawn to directly reparent a player to a medical bed without needing to wait for it to stream in, streamlining and simplifying the respawn process. The team is currently finalizing the related API. R&D work continued on clouds, fog, atmospheric lighting, and dynamic weather as well. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen monthly report, this time for May, and obviously covering the last few weeks and what CIG are working on now. But yeah, I'm interested to know, are you excited for any of that? Obviously, CIG are working towards 4.1.2, all of the stuff that they want to get in Star Citizen 1.0 as well. But CIG have largely been preparing for Alpha 4.1.1 and Fleet Week. There's a ton of new ships and vehicles that are going to turn up during that time, and a load more afterwards. CIG seem to be working on a ton of ships and vehicles that are going to probably be released all the way up until the end of this year. So they talked about, 3 new ships planned for release at the event, 4 unannounced vehicles that they're being sort of worked on. That's just by the EU team. And they're working on the consolidated Outland Pioneer and Perseus and the Apollo, which I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. But there's just loads of ships being worked on by the NA team as well. I'm interested to know what you're hoping to see in the game in the next few patches. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I would really like to hear from you. Something else you might really like is NordVPN. Ooh, best darn VPN we've ever advertised on the channel. Use the links below or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. You'll get a big discount and you get NordVPN, and then you'll feel more protected. You'll have better security and accessibilities on your interwebs. I use NordVPN and you can use it too. May is about fleets, lots of dogfighting, flying with friends, and once again we've partnered with Lunar Wolves, a Star Citizen organisation looking for recruits. Maybe you might be an appropriate fit. You can check the recruitment page for them down below. But we're giving away a fleet of ships. Commenting on any of my videos during the month of May gets lots of different lucky winners. The chance to win a Constellation Andromeda, a F7C Super Hornet Mark II, a Redeemer, and a Cutlass Black. Each winner will win one of those, courtesy of the Lunar Wolves. But wait, there is more. The Lunar Wolves are also giving away an RSI Polaris with lifetime insurance to one of their new recruits. Winners of that particular ship will be selected randomly from eligible org signups, but the rest of those ships, they're given away on my channel entirely, so you just need to comment on any of my videos to be in for a chance of winning. Lunar Wolves welcome all who share their passion for adventure and love of Star Citizen, and you can find out more about them on the lunarwolves.org webpage as well. If you would like to further support the channel, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that sort of good stuff. We've got join buttons under videos that help support the channel as well. You get some exclusive videos that are going out now. They've got Patreon, which basically does the same. We make daily Star Citizen content here, and that's partly due to the people that go the extra mile and help out the channel. I hope you have a fantastic May, a fantastic Fleet Week, and a great Star Citizen Alpha 4.1.1 experience.